One morning, Thomas was waiting impatiently at the junction for Percy to arrive. When at last the little green engine came scurrying in, Thomas was very cross. "Late again!" he snapped. Percy was indignant. "It's not my fault. There was trouble at the harbor, and I can't waste my time sitting around waiting for silly little engines like you," continued Thomas. "You're nothing but a hindrance to my branch line." He puffed away without another word, leaving behind a very angry Percy. "Who does that Thomas think he is?" he grumbled to Toby later on. "I'm not a hindrance. It was that daft ship that was late." Toby smiled. "I know you're useful, Percy, and so does Thomas. He's just grumpy at the moment is all. Bertie's been dealing with roadworks, which is making Thomas all the more fussy about timekeeping. You know how he can be." But Percy was still fed up. "Well, he could do with learning some manners at least," he muttered as he clanked away with his trucks. Later that evening, Percy was back at the harbour. He had kept to time for the rest of the day and hadn't had any more run-ins with Thomas, but he was still brooding as he clattered noisily around shutting his last train. "Silly Thomas," he said to himself. I'll show him." But he wasn't entirely sure how he would. "Come on, Percy," laughed his driver. "Let's get this lot to the junction. Then you can have a rest. That might make you feel better." The guard blew his whistle, and Percy puffed away. Soon the junction came into view, but to Percy's surprise, there was Bertie, still beside the station. His passengers crowded around him as smoke bellowed from his engine. "What's the matter, Bertie?" he whistled. "I feel dreadful," wheezed Bertie. "I've had to take a new route due to those road works, but all this rushing around's done no favors for my engine." "You poor thing," sympathized the little engine. "What will your passengers do?" "They'll have to wait for another bus, I suppose," coughed Bertie. Just then, Percy had an idea. "Could I help? I could get them to the big station quickly, and they might not be so late." Bertie and his passengers all perked up. "Are you sure?" asked Bertie. "Of course," smiled Percy. His driver quickly spoke with the station master, who agreed to the plan. He shunted his trucks away and collected some spare coaches from the carriage shed. The passengers all quickly boarded the train, and when the guard's whistle blew, Percy puffed happily away, determined to make up for some lost time. They soon arrived at the big station. Percy didn't often come here, and was quite the surprise arrival. Gordon was quite taken aback. Percy didn't care. He stopped happily at the platform, just as the clock struck the hour. The passengers were very pleased, and they all gave Percy their thanks. "Only 10 minutes down," said the driver. "Not too bad, that." "A fine piece of work." Percy jumped, but he knew the voice. There stood the fat controller, who looked very pleased. "I'm very proud of you, Percy. You have been a credit to my line." Percy felt very proud, and couldn't help but blush. He puffed into the shed late that night. After his rushing about, he felt too tired to talk, and wanted to head straight to sleep. But as he drifted off, he heard Thomas whisper to Toby, "We are lucky to have someone as useful as Percy on our line." Percy said nothing, but he fell asleep, feeling a very satisfied engine.